Right. So a common way that processing programs are set up, and a common way that Java programs are set up, is to declare variables at the top or in the class definition itself. So like way at the top of our program inside these implied braces. These are what's called fields, and we've talked about it a little bit or maybe not. But like these fields are things that the whole program can utilize. So you can create objects or whatever you want up there, and then the whole program can utilize it. And frequently then in a constructor in full Java or in the setup function in processing, we would declare or we would assign an initial value to this to all of our fields. So circle y, let's just give it an initial value of height divided by 2. And then we'll also have to, or we will choose to, set up the window to have a particular size. So now if we run this, you'll see that our ball is right there. Great, okay, but it falls off the screen. So now, what if we wanted to make it stop? Well, we can utilize the if checks from the previous lesson that you should have read over. And we can say if circle y is greater than the height of our overall window, then we want to set the value of circle y to 0. So that'll bring it back up to the top of the window. So we say if the y value has gone below our window, just bring it back up to the top. So let's run this now. And we should see, well, I maybe should have made the window smaller so that you can see it more quickly, but there it goes. It comes back up to the top. Let's do that, in fact. Let's make this 200 by 200 so that we don't have to wait quite so long to see it. Cool. As an interesting side note, what does this number 1 represent here? Well, it actually represents velocity or speed. So we can say float y speed, and then we can set the value of y speed to, say, 1, right, just because we've been using 1. And then let's change this down here, y speed. And if we run this, it'll do the exact same thing. An interesting thing now, though, is that we have better kind of understanding about what these quantities are. We've taken away some magic numbers, which is a good thing to do, really. So our program should actually look like this. Float or int ball size. We should declare this, and then we should set in the setup program ball size equals 10. And then down here, instead of 10 and 10, we'll have ball size, and it'll do exactly the same thing, but it becomes much more readable when you do that. Okay? So now if we want to change the speed of the falling, we can set this to like 3, and every time through the loop it'll get incremented by 3. That's kind of cool. We can set it to 10, and it'll start to look kind of ridiculous. That is plenty for this video. So this is a good practice, just to sum up. Make sure that you declare variables for all of the things that you'll be using, because it makes your code much more readable. So instead of there being numbers here, you can just go back and read it and say, okay, the width, this is the x coordinate. In fact, this should actually, we'll do one more, because even that's a little bit. Float circle x, and then down here we'll say circle x equals width divided by 2, and then this becomes much more readable. So circle x here, and now you can always remember exactly what these things are. You can go back up to the setup function and see what values you initially gave them. So we can change now the location of the ball very easily. So if it's divided by 3, it'll be over on that side. Anyway, it just starts to become much more readable and kind of manageable once you get bigger and bigger programs. This is very important once you have programs that are at all sizable. Okay, that's enough for this video.